Did you know that the honey badger is classified in the genus Mellivora? It is arguably the most ferocious creature on Earth. Not the lion, not the tiger, not the crocodile, and not even the hippo. It's the honey badger, a creature whose appearance is almost comical, but whose actions are absolutely terrifying. This formidable animal attacks venomous cobras. If it gets bitten and the venom hits, it just collapses, sleeps it off for a little while, and then wakes up to continue the fight as if nothing happened. The honey badger isn't just reckless. It has thick, loose skin that lets it withstand lion bites, bee stings, and the harsh realities of life itself. Even though it's only about a meter long, nobody wants trouble with it. Not a lion, not a hyena, and certainly not a human. In today's video, we'll follow the story of one of the planet's most aggressive beings, one who neither fears nor surrenders, living its entire life in angry mode. If you're ready to see pure madness, get ready, my friend. And of course, all of this takes place in a completely absurd and comical narrative. So without further ado, let's start.
Our story begins with the birth of a honey badger, born in a hole underground. A den that its mother probably didn't even bother digging. She most likely just found it ready and thought, "Perfect, this'll do." Upon your birth, your mother decides to name you Trouble. Look, I know Trouble is a strange name, but your mother wanted you to grow up to be a mischievous little vandal. The first sound you hear is your own tiny voice, which, let's be honest, has no authority whatsoever. But don't worry, Trouble, that swagger is coming. Right now, you're naked, bald, hungry, and you have no idea what the world outside is like or what you're even supposed to do in it. But trust me, Trouble, you will grow up to be a total headache for this planet.
Your mother is tough. She doesn't have time to coddle you. She's busy guarding the den from any creature who thinks the place is an easy target. You are so small, little Trouble, that you don't even notice her snarling at beasts twice her size. If you could see it, you would grab a pen and paper to take notes and learn. At this stage, life is simple. Eat, sleep, and try to bite your mother's tail when it's in your face. It's an easy life. Not bad at all. After a few months, you start going out on errands with your mom. She doesn't explain anything to you. You're expected to figure it out yourself. And sure enough, she takes you to your first lesson.
You go with her to a beehive and you watch her tear it open as if the bees owe her money. You stand back and observe, not because you're a specter, but because the sound is terrifying and the bees look seriously angry. The bees attack her, stinging her face, legs, and everywhere else, but she doesn't care at all. You wonder why? Little Trouble, because she knows what's inside. Honey and bee larvae, her treasure. Suddenly, she looks at you and makes a sound that essentially means, "All right, your turn has come." Trouble approaches and reaches out a paw, but he immediately regrets it. The bees sting him, and he feels pain for the first time. He yelps, falls down, and runs to hide.
Trouble expected his mother to come and comfort him, but the opposite happens. She completely ignores him and continues eating as if he doesn't exist. This is a lesson, of course. Don't worry, Trouble. With time, you'll get used to it. You'll stop crying when the bees sting you and start focusing on the reward. The experience isn't pleasant, but it teaches you the most important rule in the life of a young badger. The pain is temporary, but the meal is permanent. When you reach 6 months old, you start going out alone. Your mother is still watching you from afar, but she gives you space to make mistakes. Your first attempt at hunting is a disaster. You see a scorpion and think, "This is too slow." The moment you grab it, the scorpion whips around, stings your leg, and runs off. As usual, you flop around in pain. But don't worry, champion, you are known to be resistant to venom. It just makes you think twice about what you did. The second time is a little better. You see a lizard basking in the sun and decide that's the one. You attack and it tries to escape, but Trouble manages to catch its tail. Well done, Trouble. You secured your first prey. It's not a big catch, but it's enough to make you feel like a hero.
When you turn 1 year old, your mother basically says, "Okay, honey, that's enough for you." One day, you wake up and find she has vanished. She left you standing alone in the middle of the savannah with no plan and no warning. Welcome to independence. The first few days alone were hellish, like being in a tough movie without the hero who saves you in the end. This, Trouble, forced you to learn how to make a living. Every meal was an adventure, a small rabbit, an egg, or sometimes an insect that just crossed your path. Most importantly, you learned the critical lesson. Not every fight is worth entering.
Slowly, Trouble started putting his feet on the path. He stopped attacking everything that moved and began choosing his battles carefully. Scorpions? Sure. Snakes? Let's go. It's all protein. Above all, Trouble stopped being afraid of venom. In fact, Trouble wasn't afraid of anything anymore. Once, he encountered a cobra, and they fought for a while until the snake bit him. Trouble got a little dizzy, went to sleep under a tree, let his immunity system do its work, and woke up shortly after to continue on his way as if it were a minor inconvenience.
When you reach 2 years old, little Trouble, you've made a name for yourself. The grown-ups in the savannah now take you seriously. You're not big, most predators weigh many times more than you, but what you lack in size, you make up for in bravery and stubbornness. Lions, leopards, and hyenas have all learned the lesson: fighting with you is not in their best interest. You don't always win, but with you, it's never about winning. It's about making anyone who thinks of messing with you regret it. One day, Trouble was walking, looking for some action, and he accidentally saw a leopard standing over its kill. The logical thing for any sensible creature to do would be to walk away. Leopards don't share their kills, champ. But with utter foolishness, you looked at the leopard, then at the prey, and told yourself, why not? Ready for a round, Leo? The leopard started growling a low, menacing sound. A clear threat to Trouble, as if saying, come closer if you dare. And as we all know, Trouble never backs down. He approached and the battle began. A blow from here, a blow from there. The leopard was surprised by Trouble's tenacity, and Trouble was relentless. The leopard stopped to calculate. This thing is small, yes, but it's reckless and bold, and it won't stop. In the end, he decided to retreat and leave the meal to the master, Trouble, who dragged the prey away like the king of the savannah.
But danger isn't always big, my friend. Sometimes a wild dog sniffs around your food, or a jackal thinks it's a ninja that can sneak past you unnoticed. But in the end, it makes no difference to you. Big or small, if it crosses you and you don't like its look, you won't let it off easy. For other animals, survival means running away from trouble. But you, Trouble, you are the one who makes the trouble. This isn't because you are physically the strongest, but simply because you decided to be this way. Confidence is half the battle, champion.
Now, Trouble, you've turned 3 and want to find a territory that's all yours. But that space doesn't come easily. Every good spot already has a flag on it. It's not about finding a place, it's about fighting to take it. And a fight here means biting, screaming, and a ruckus that turns the world upside down until one of you backs down. Your first attempt was a failure. You entered land that looked empty, thinking it was your chance, but you discovered it belonged to an old badger who was not happy to see you. Without warning or any talk, you were attacked by claws and teeth flying from the air. The fight was quick and brutal, and you walked away limping a bit. But you told yourself, I wasn't serious about that land anyway, right? Yeah, right. You walk a little further and find a spot that looks perfect. Shaded trees, food nearby, and water close by. Unfortunately, you're not alone. A jackal is making itself quite at home there. But unlike the old badger, this one isn't looking for a fight. You go on the offensive,
Give him a few warnings and launch a half-hearted attack until the creature runs off. Congratulations, boss. Trouble now has his own piece of land. Life has become simple. You patrol your land, sniff around it, and mark your territory so everyone knows you are here. Anyone who enters by mistake, be it a curious mongoose or a lost fox, you quickly chase them out. And one time is usually enough for most of them. If they don't get it, no problem. We can teach them again. Life isn't luxurious, but it's moving along. You hunt, you sleep, and maybe cause a little action on the side. This is the closest thing a honey badger knows to stability. Trouble is now 5 years old and has mastered the game. Your body is covered in scars, and each one tells a story. But you are not the type to sit around and tell tales. Your land is secure, your hunting skills are sharp, and most predators avoid you. Hunting isn't about survival anymore. It's about expertise. Master. You wait for the right moment. A fat rabbit, a foolish bird, or an unguarded nest. You strike, eat, and return to your den to sleep until hunger wakes you again. A simple life, but it suits you. But time waits for no one, Trouble. You are reaching 8 or 9 now. You aren't as fast, and the wounds ache more and take longer to heal. You don't get into many fights, not because you're scared, but because you've earned the right to choose your battles. Not everything is worth the effort anymore. One day, a young badger decides to enter your territory. He looks like he's ready for a fight. You look at him and remember your own days when your blood was hot and you wanted to prove yourself. The fight was tough, but in the end, you won. He takes a bite and leaves. You know the next time, a meaner one might come along and beat you. That's the way of life. The end comes quietly after years of fighting, hunting, and action. Tiredness wins in the end. You find a tree with good shade. Trouble curls up beneath it and lets the savannah continue without him. There's no applause, no grand farewell, just a moment of peace.
Somewhere else, a small badger begins its journey, perhaps biting its mother's tail for the first time, or maybe charging at something much bigger than itself. The circle continues to spin. You didn't leave a legacy, my friend, and you didn't need to. As long as you were here, you lived as a honey badger should live, stubborn, brave, and unstoppable. And that alone is more than enough. Until we meet again, my friends, good night.